The cold darkness of space stretched endlessly, pierced only by the distant glow of stars. A massive fleet moved through the void, silent but ominous. Thousands of Imperial ships, each larger than entire cities on Earth, formed a perfect formation, glinting like steel in the distant starlight. Their mission was clear: subdue Earth, the so-called primitive planet that had somehow caught the attention of the Galactic Council. On the command bridge of the Imperial flagship, Admiral Corrin observed the planets of the Sol system through the main view screen. He leaned forward, a smirk playing across his face. "This will be an easy conquest," he said. "They are primitive. Their technology is decades behind ours. By the time they react, Earth will belong to the Empire." His first officer, Lieutenant Vash, nodded. "Reports show minimal spacefaring capability. Most of their ships are small, unarmed, or barely functional. Resistance will be negligible." Corrin chuckled, brushing a hand across the polished surface of the control panel. "Exactly. And this time the Council will be pleased. No delays, no failures. Humanity will fall." Meanwhile, far below in Earth's orbit, humans watched the approaching fleet with a mix of determination and calm. In orbiting observation stations, scientists, engineers, and military leaders were already at work. They had been preparing for this day for decades, anticipating the possibility that the galaxy would one day decide Earth was a threat, or at least worth controlling. Dr. Elena Faris, head of Earth's Planetary Defense Initiative, monitored the incoming fleet with intense focus. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, pulling data streams from orbital sensors, deep space scanners, and AI predictive models. "They're moving faster than expected," she said, her voice calm but tense. "But their formation is rigid. They're confident, and that will be their weakness." General Arik Tan, commander of Earth's Orbital Defense Forces, looked over her shoulder. He nodded. "We've trained for this. Everyone knows their role. Remember, it's not just about weapons. It's about intelligence, adaptability, and timing. They may be bigger, but we are smarter." Far below, across Earth's surface, cities continued their daily rhythm. Civilians went about their lives unaware of the enormous fleet approaching. Yet in secret military bunkers and command centers, humanity prepared. Underground factories were readying drones. AI networks coordinated orbital defenses. Research teams had fine-tuned every weapon system, every satellite, and every fighter craft. The planet's might was hidden, underestimated by the galaxy, but deadly in its precision. As the Imperial fleet entered Earth's solar system, communications channels opened. Imperial commanders broadcast a message in the Galactic Standard language, a cold and imperious tone. "People of Earth," Admiral Corrin's voice echoed through space, "reaching orbiting stations and planetary receivers. The Imperial Council has deemed your world backward and in need of control. We demand immediate surrender. Resistance is futile." On Earth, the message was received but met with quiet resolve. Dr. Faris exchanged a glance with General Tan. "They think fear will work," she said softly. "They have no idea what we are capable of." Tan's hand rested on the edge of the command console. "Then let's show them." The humans did not respond immediately. They allowed the Imperial fleet to approach, luring the massive ships deeper into their carefully planned engagement zone. Sensors tracked every vessel, every shield frequency, every weapon signature. The humans studied the enemy with precision, searching for weaknesses, patterns, anything that could be exploited. Then, the first strike was planned. Not a weapon fired, but a signal. A pulse of information raced through the fleet's sensors, a subtle digital probe that infiltrated the Imperial communications network. It moved like water, slipping through gaps in their security. Within moments, the humans were reading their enemy's commands, understanding their hierarchy, even predicting their next moves. Aboard the flagship, Corrin frowned as consoles beeped with unusual readings. "What is this?" he demanded. "Check all channels. Find the source." Lieutenant Vash's eyes widened. "Sir, it's coming from the planet." "How?" Corrin's lips tightened. "Impossible. Our systems are secure, yet they know our formations. Our tactics. Prepare the fleet for immediate engagement." Back on Earth, Dr. Faris smiled faintly. "They're panicking," she whispered. "Good. That makes them predictable." As the humans prepared their defenses, the story shifted to the orbital fleet stations, where pilots strapped into sleek fighters, engineers monitored drone swarms, and AI cores calculated trillions of possible outcomes. Every action had been rehearsed, Every system was synchronized. Humanity was ready, not just to defend but to overwhelm. At the first sign of aggression, the humans would act, and that first move would change everything. Then it came. The Imperial fleet opened fire, releasing swarms of missiles and energy blasts aimed at Earth's orbiting satellites and defense platforms. Massive beams of energy cut through the void, lighting the darkness like artificial suns. But the humans were not caught off guard. Shield systems activated instantly, absorbing the impact. Countermeasures deployed. Drones intercepted missiles mid-flight, and holographic decoys drew energy blasts away from critical stations. Fighters launched from Earth's orbital hangars, small but fast and maneuverable. Pilots executed complex patterns weaving through the massive Imperial formations. Their speed and agility allowed them to strike at weak points in the enemy fleet before retreating to safety. From the vantage of space, the battle was a strange contrast. Immense Imperial ships built for brute force moved slowly and rigidly, while humans darted like swarms of fireflies, unpredictable and deadly. Even the largest Imperial vessels could not anticipate the humans' coordination and speed. In the middle of the chaos, General Tan watched the holographic map of the battlefield. Lines of data traced the positions of every ship. "Target the command hubs," he ordered. "If we take out their communications, they'll fall apart." Dr. Ferris nodded. "Already done. Our drones are in position. The first strike is ready." And then, without warning, humanity struck. Silent, invisible attacks disabled the fleet's shields. Energy pulses from Earth's orbital stations overloaded weapon systems, causing massive chain reactions. Imperial ships erupted in flashes of light, debris scattering across space like fallen stars. Panic spread through the ranks. Commands were ignored or miscommunicated. Ships collided. Fighters were swallowed by the explosions of their own capital vessels. Admiral Corrin could not believe it. How are they doing this?" he shouted. "Every tactic, every move. They anticipate it." Lieutenant Vash turned pale. "Sir, I think they've studied us. Every pattern, every formation. They know what we'll do before we do it." Corrin's fists clenched. No, this cannot be happening." On Earth, General Tan allowed himself a brief smile. The humans had waited, observed, and prepared. Now the galaxy's first impression of humanity would be forged in fire and steel, and it would be unforgettable. From the surface of the planet, people looked up at the sky. For them, the battle was mostly invisible, a distant war in the void. Yet the rumble of energy, the flashes of light, even the faint tremor of gravity as debris moved through orbit reached them. Many did not know the scale of the victory being won above. But humanity as a whole felt a quiet pride. They were ready to defend their home no matter the cost, and so the first day of the confrontation ended. The Imperial fleet, confident and proud, had encountered something they did not expect. The humans were not backward, not weak, not naive. They were clever, united, and prepared in ways the galaxy had never seen. In the command centers above and below the planet, one thought united every human: they would not fall. Not today, not ever. The battle for Earth had begun, and the humans were already winning. The void of space burned with flashes of light as debris from the Imperial fleet drifted silently. Ships that had been symbols of terror now floated as broken fragments, proof that the humans were not to be underestimated. But the battle was far from over. General Eric Tan stood on the command deck of Earth's orbital flagship, watching the holographic displays scroll rapidly with enemy positions and damage reports. "Status report," he said, his voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Mara Kessler, head of the fighter squadron, responded immediately. "The fleet is scattered. Their main formation is destabilized. Capital ships are losing shields and smaller vessels are drifting uncontrolled. They're trying to regroup, but we have them right where we want them." Tan nodded. "Good. Prepare the counterstrike. Target their command ships first. We hit fast, hit hard, and we hit smart." Above them, the Imperial commanders scrambled. Admiral Corrin's pride had been shattered in minutes. His flagship's shields were damaged, engines faltering. Orders to regroup were ignored as chaos rippled through his fleet. "They know our patterns," Corrin shouted to his officers. "They are predicting us, but we can still force them to retreat. Focus on their orbital stations." But the humans had anticipated this. Every station, every drone, every satellite was linked through a complex network of AI-controlled systems. Humans had created a battlefield that adapted as quickly as the enemy could react. The first wave of humans' offensive action began not with massive explosions, but with precision strikes. Cloaked drones, invisible to Imperial sensors, darted between ships and delivered targeted energy pulses. Engines of several cruisers overloaded, sending fire and smoke into the void. Fighters swarmed in patterns that seemed chaotic but were perfectly calculated, exploiting every gap and weakness in the enemy's formation. From the control deck, Mara Kessler piloted one of the lead fighters. She could see the massive Imperial vessels, powerful but sluggish. Her small craft weaved effortlessly, dodging energy blasts while launching micro-missiles that tore through weak points. Each move was choreographed by instinct and strategy, learned over years of rigorous training. "Target the dorsal shields," she called to her wingman. "They're weakest there." Explosions flared along the sides of the Imperial ships. Fire streaked across space as smaller vessels detonated. The enemy had expected a slow, predictable human defense. Instead, they were facing a relentless assault that combined ingenuity with speed, precision, and coordination. On the ground below, Dr. Elena Ferris monitored the battle with focused intensity. Her fingers danced across the controls, sending real-time updates to the orbital fleet, adjusting targeting parameters, and reconfiguring drone formations mid-flight. "They're trying to adapt," she said to General Tan, "but we've already prepared for their countermeasures. Every move they make, we've anticipated." Tan allowed himself a brief smile. "Then let's remind them why humanity is never predictable." Meanwhile, the Imperial fleet tried to mount a defense. Shields flared and regenerated. Massive turrets rotated to track the agile human fighters, and energy beams scorched the empty void where they had predicted human ships to be. But for every attack they launched, humans had already moved. Missiles were intercepted by drones. Energy pulses were absorbed or diverted. Ships that seemed to appear out of nowhere struck at vulnerable points before vanishing. Aboard Corrin's flagship, frustration reached a boiling point. "They are everywhere and nowhere," he yelled. "Our ships are falling faster than we can respond." Lieutenant Vash tried to maintain composure. "Sir, their coordination, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. They're not just attacking, they are controlling the flow of the battle." Corrin slammed his fist against the console. "I will not be humiliated by humans. Deploy everything. Launch all capital weapons." But even as the orders were given, the humans adapted. Orbital platforms fired massive electromagnetic pulses that disrupted energy grids across the enemy fleet. The pulses caused shields to flicker and weapons to misfire. Ships that had been relied upon for command and control were now drifting, disabled. From a hidden vantage point, human drones moved in to finish what had been started. Small, fast, and nearly invisible, they struck at the heart of the Imperial command structure. Explosions rocked the enemy ships as entire decks were destroyed in moments. Smoke and fire trailed behind the crippled vessels as they spun helplessly in space. "Keep pressure on them," General Tan ordered. "Do not let them regroup. Every second counts." Humans on Earth were united in their effort. Soldiers monitored remote operations. Engineers repaired damaged systems instantly, and AI networks calculated countless strategies simultaneously. Every move was coordinated to perfection, turning the battlefield into a dynamic system where humans were always one step ahead. Imperial morale began to crumble. Sailors and officers who had once regarded humanity with disdain now looked on in disbelief. Ships that had been considered invincible were destroyed within minutes. Some began retreating, hoping to escape the relentless human onslaught. But even retreat was not simple. Humans had anticipated escape routes, blocking them with drones and precision attacks. In the midst of the chaos, a young pilot, Lieutenant Rian Solis, led a small squadron through the enemy lines. Their mission was daring: disable the remaining command ships before reinforcements could arrive. With calculated precision, they weaved through debris and energy blasts, striking with pinpoint accuracy. Each hit caused massive disruption, and within moments the Imperial command network began to collapse. Back on the flagship, Admiral Corrin's face was pale. He had underestimated humans. He had mocked them as backward, primitive, and incapable. But now he realized the truth. They were intelligent, resourceful, and united. This cannot be happening," he whispered. Lieutenant Vash placed a hand on his shoulder. "Sir, we may not survive this. Their tactics, they are unlike anything we've faced before." Corrin shook his head in disbelief. We must hold them off. Do not let them reach the main fleet. But it was too late. Humanity's first strike had set the tone for the entire battle. Within minutes, the Imperial fleet had suffered irreparable damage. Large cruisers exploded in brilliant flashes, scattering debris across space. Smaller ships were torn apart, and remaining vessels moved erratically, unable to maintain formation. From Earth, Dr. Ferris and General Tan observed the results. "They've lost the initiative," she said quietly. "Now we take full control of the battlefield." Tan nodded. "The humans are not just defending. We are showing the galaxy that we are capable of far more than they ever imagined." Even as the humans struck, there was a method to their actions. Civilians on Earth, unaware of the full scale of the battle, went about their lives, yet in secret. Support teams ensured that every human-made system contributed to the defense. Orbital factories launched replacement drones, repaired damaged satellites, and coordinated with pilots to maintain a continuous offensive. The Imperial fleet's arrogance had been its undoing. Their rigid formations, reliance on brute force, and underestimation of humanity made them vulnerable. Humans exploited every weakness, striking where least expected, adapting instantly to every move and demonstrating creativity and courage on a scale the galaxy had never seen. As the minutes passed, it became clear that the humans were not just surviving, they were winning. The Imperial fleet, a symbol of galactic power, was being destroyed piece by piece. Explosions lit the darkness of space like distant stars, each one a testament to human skill, preparation, and determination. In the midst of the chaos, General Tan allowed himself a moment of reflection. Humanity had been underestimated, mocked, and dismissed. But now, with each strike, each maneuver, each calculated risk, the truth became undeniable. Humans were not weak. Humans were not primitive. Humans were unstoppable when united and determined to protect their home. From orbit, Earth glowed softly below, a fragile blue and green world that had become the center of a galactic battle. And around it, the Imperial fleet, once proud and unstoppable, was collapsing under the precision and intelligence of humans who had prepared for this moment for decades. As the first wave of human attacks concluded, the battlefield was clear. The Imperial fleet had been shattered, and humanity had not only defended their planet but had demonstrated a level of strategy and skill that would echo across the galaxy. And though the battle was far from over, one truth had become undeniable. The humans had struck first, and they had struck with a force no enemy could ignore. The remnants of the Imperial fleet drifted like wounded beasts in the darkness of space. The once proud vessels, symbols of power and authority across the galaxy, now bore the marks of human precision. Ripped hulls, sparking circuits, and shattered command centers. Imperial commanders struggled to maintain order, but confusion and fear had taken root among their crews. Admiral Corrin's flagship rocked slightly as backup thrusters fired to stabilize it. His face was pale, eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the extent of their losses. They are everywhere," he muttered. "How can such primitive beings control the battle so completely?" Lieutenant Vash swallowed hard. "Sir, their tactics are adaptive. Every time we move, they predict us. Every maneuver we make is countered. They anticipate our responses before we even decide them." Corrin slammed his fist on the console. "Impossible. We are the Empire. No species has ever resisted us like this. We must fight back, somehow." But the humans had already prepared for their desperate counterattacks. From Earth's orbit, drones and satellites moved in coordinated patterns, striking at the critical systems of remaining Imperial ships. Electromagnetic pulses disabled weapons and communication grids. Cloaked attack crafts emerged from behind debris fields, hitting vital engines and shield generators before vanishing. General Arik Tan observed the battlefield with a mixture of calm and intensity. "They're trying to regroup," he said to Dr. Elena Ferris, who was monitoring sensor data from Earth's command center. "But we've anticipated every possible route. Their options are running out," Ferris nodded. "Our adaptive algorithms are tracking all known fleet formations. Every ship that moves, every attempt to repair, we can counter in real time. They have no idea what's coming next." Above the battlefield, human pilots executed daring maneuvers. Squadron leader Mara Kessler led a team of agile fighters, weaving between Imperial cruisers and capital ships. Their movements seemed random to the enemy, but each strike had a purpose. Weak points and shields, exposed engine ports, communication arrays, all were hit with precision. "Split left," Kessler commanded. "Target the dorsal engines on those cruisers. They won't expect an attack from this angle." Explosions erupted along the Imperial ships, sending trails of fire and debris into the void. Panic spread quickly among the alien crews. Orders were shouted but not followed. Signals jammed. Ships collided with one another, unable to respond to the sudden, overwhelming human assault. In the outer orbital rings, Earth's hidden factories launched reinforcements. Swarms of drones previously stored for emergencies moved with silent efficiency. Each drone carried weapons, sensors, or repair modules. Some intercepted Imperial projectiles while others struck at damaged ships to prevent them from recovering. The humans' coordination was flawless, a perfect blend of machine precision and human judgment. Aboard one of the remaining Imperial command ships, Commander Laris attempted to rally his forces. "Focus on the satellites. If we destroy their orbital network, we can regain control." But it was too late. Humans had anticipated such a move. Satellites were shielded, redundant, and able to respond instantly. Drones attacked the approaching enemy vessels with lethal efficiency, forcing them to retreat or face complete destruction. Even as the battle continued, Earth's people on the surface played a role. Engineers coordinated supply chains, ensuring that orbital platforms remained fueled and operational. AI systems recalculated strategies in real time, optimizing every move. The humans' ability to work together, scientists, soldiers, pilots, and civilians, was as crucial as their weapons. Within the chaos, Lieutenant Ryan Solis led a daring mission. A small group of fighters slipped past damaged cruisers, heading straight for the Imperial flagship. Their goal was audacious: disable the main weapon systems before they could fire again. Moving at incredible speed, they navigated through debris, dodged energy blasts, and struck with precision. Explosions rippled across the flagship as weapon systems overloaded. Energy conduits sparked and melted. The alien crew scrambled in panic, unable to respond to the unexpected human strike. Within moments, critical systems were offline. The flagship, once a symbol of fear, was now crippled. Admiral Corrin's eyes widened in disbelief. How are they doing this?" "We should be in control." Lieutenant Vash shook his head. "Sir, they are using every advantage. Gravity, debris, our own momentum against us, and they coordinate flawlessly. Their technology and strategy, it's beyond anything we've faced." On Earth, General Tan monitored the success of the operation. "Every move they make has been calculated," he said. "The humans are exploiting their weaknesses faster than the aliens can react." Dr. Ferris leaned forward, pointing to a screen displaying the Imperial fleet's remaining formations. "Their command structure is collapsing. They have no way to coordinate attacks. We've created a situation where even their best officers cannot regain control." Across space, the humans maintained relentless pressure. Energy pulses, missile strikes, and drone attacks forced Imperial ships into defensive maneuvers. The aliens' attempts to regroup were continuously anticipated and countered. Every retreat route, every repair station, every potential advantage was neutralized by human ingenuity. Even the psychological impact was devastating. Imperial crews trained for years to conquer and dominate were witnessing humans operate with precision, speed, and creativity that they could not match. Fear replaced arrogance. Confusion replaced confidence. In one particularly daring move, humans used the planet's magnetic field as a weapon. Energy pulses amplified by Earth's natural magnetism disrupted shields on multiple Imperial ships simultaneously. The resulting chaos caused collisions and massive internal damage. It was a strategy no one in the galaxy had ever imagined, a blend of natural advantage and human innovation. Aboard the flagship, Corrin's despair grew. "We are losing everything. Our ships, our fleet, collapsing under humans." His voice trembled. Lieutenant Vash placed a hand on his shoulder. "Sir, they are not just defending, they are leading the battle. They control it completely." Humans had transformed the battlefield. What began as a defensive maneuver had become an offensive campaign. Each human pilot, each drone, each satellite acted as part of a larger network of strategy and tactics. The Imperial fleet, once the galaxy's symbol of domination, now fought merely to survive. On Earth, General Tan allowed a rare moment of satisfaction. "They underestimated us," he said to Dr. Ferris. "They thought we were weak. But intelligence, coordination, and adaptability are more powerful than brute force. Ferris nodded. And we've shown them that. The galaxy will never see humans the same way again. In the void above, the final moments of the Imperial fleet's cohesion were collapsing. Ships drifted without control, weapons lay idle, and command chains were broken. Human drones struck the remaining vessels, ensuring that no ship could recover. The battle had reached a turning point. Even the civilians of Earth, unaware of the precise details, sensed the shift. The constant monitoring of news channels and public communication systems reported streaks of light in orbit, sudden bursts of energy, and fragments of ships falling into space. People whispered in awe, realizing that humanity was proving itself capable of feats no one had imagined. And above it all, General Tan and Dr. Ferris watched. "We have control now," Tan said firmly. "The Imperial fleet is being defeated, not just because of our weapons, but because of our unity, our intelligence, and our courage." Dr. Ferris added, "This is what HFY is about. Humans are underestimated, but when united, we can face any challenge, overcome any opponent, and defend what is ours with honor." In the darkness of space, human strategy and innovation shone brighter than the stars. The Imperial fleet, once terrifying, was now disorganized, crippled, and vulnerable. Every move made by humans was precise, calculated, and unstoppable. The turning point had arrived. Humanity had shifted from defense to dominance in the battle, showing the galaxy that they were forces to be reckoned with. And as the humans pressed their advantage, one truth became undeniable. The Imperial fleet had underestimated Earth, and that mistake would cost them dearly. The vast expanse of space was littered with the wreckage of what had once been the mighty Imperial fleet. Twisted metal and burning fragments drifted silently, a haunting reminder of the humans' precision and strategy. The few remaining Imperial ships were scattered and damaged, their crews demoralized and panicked. Aboard the flagship, Admiral Corrin struggled to maintain control. His once confident demeanor had vanished, replaced by disbelief and fear. "How can this be happening?" he demanded, voice shaking. "We are the Empire. We cannot lose to humans." Lieutenant Vash looked down at the status displays, grim. "Sir, we have lost over 70% of our fleet. Shields are failing. Weapons are offline. Our ships are disorganized. Retreat is almost impossible." Corrin clenched his fists, staring at the endless blackness of space. "We must fight. We must survive. But how?" "They anticipate everything." Meanwhile, humanity maintained relentless pressure. The orbital command centers, satellites, and fighter squadrons coordinated seamlessly. No Imperial maneuver went unnoticed. Every attempt to repair systems or regroup was immediately countered by drones, precise strikes, or adaptive weapons. General Arik Tan observed the battlefield, calm and composed. "Their morale is breaking. Every move we make reinforces their fear. They cannot recover from this." Dr. Elena Ferris nodded, monitoring the sensors. "They underestimated us from the start. They thought size and firepower were enough. But humans are adaptable, creative, and relentless. This is what makes us powerful." The remaining Imperial ships tried to regroup in a desperate attempt to form a new formation near the outer orbital rings. Energy blasts fired from damaged turrets, but their shots were scattered and largely ineffective. Cloaked human drones struck with precision, crippling engines and weapon arrays. Communication lines failed under electromagnetic interference, leaving the alien crews isolated and unable to coordinate. In the midst of chaos, human pilots led daring strikes. Lieutenant Mara Kessler guided her squadron through the wreckage, attacking vulnerable points on the largest remaining cruisers. Her squad moved like a single entity, each pilot knowing exactly when and where to strike. Micromissiles targeted critical systems, causing cascading failures across the enemy ships. On one heavily damaged cruiser, Commander Laris barked orders, but no one could follow them. The humans had dismantled the fleet's command structure, leaving officers unable to issue coherent instructions. Panic swept through the ship as systems failed one by one, engines exploded, shields collapsed, and the vessel began to drift helplessly. Above the chaos, Earth's orbital satellites launched coordinated attacks. Energy beams targeted propulsion systems, disabling mobility. Defense drones intercepted any remaining missiles or energy blasts. The humans' ability to anticipate enemy moves turned every Imperial attempt at retaliation into disaster. Lieutenant Ryan Solis led a squadron directly into the core of the remaining fleet. Their mission was bold: neutralize the last capital ships before they could regroup and escape. Moving at incredible speeds, they weaved through debris and laser fire, striking with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions erupted across the enemy vessels, further breaking their morale. Aboard Corrin's flagship, the reality became unavoidable. "We are finished," he muttered, voice hollow. "Our fleet, destroyed by humans in minutes. How is this possible?" Lieutenant Vash shook his head, eyes wide. "They are not just fighting. They are controlling the battlefield. Every tactic, every maneuver, they anticipate and counter. We cannot survive this." Humans, however, continued their disciplined approach. Every strike was calculated, every move deliberate. They did not waste resources, yet they exploited every opportunity to weaken and disable the enemy. Even damaged drones and satellites remained coordinated, contributing to the relentless pressure on the remaining Imperial ships. In the outer orbital ring, human engineers launched additional drone swarms from hidden platforms. Each drone had a specific target: shield generators, engines, weapon arrays. The aliens' desperate attempts to defend themselves were futile. Explosions tore through cruisers, debris collided with other ships, and panic spread like wildfire. General Tan watched the destruction with satisfaction. "The fleet is collapsing," he said quietly. "Every attempt at resistance only accelerates their defeat. Humans are unstoppable when united and strategic." Dr. Ferris pointed to the display showing the Imperial fleet's remaining vessels. "They've lost coordination completely. Their few functional ships are isolated. The collapse is total." Even as the Imperial commanders attempted one last desperate maneuver, forming a tight cluster to concentrate firepower, the humans anticipated it. Cloaked drones positioned themselves between the ships, disrupting shields and targeting engines. Fighters attacked from multiple angles simultaneously, ensuring that no ship could escape. Explosions and energy discharges lit the darkness of space, a stunning contrast against the calm blue planet below. The humans' precision and coordination were overwhelming. Every Imperial vessel that tried to fight back was either destroyed or disabled within moments. Aboard the flagship, Admiral Corrin realized the futility of resistance. His fleet was no longer a force. It was debris in orbit around Earth. We are defeated," he whispered. "All of it. Lost." Lieutenant Vash nodded solemnly. "They are superior. We underestimated humans, and it cost us everything." Even as victory became certain, humans maintained discipline. They did not attack needlessly. Destroyed ships were targeted, but surrendering crews were left unharmed when possible. Humanity's strength was not just in weapons and strategy, but in honor and restraint. On the battlefield, human pilots executed their final strikes. Mara Kessler's squadron disabled the last operational cruisers. Lieutenant Ryan Solis's team destroyed the remaining command hubs. Orbital drones intercepted all remaining missiles and energy blasts. Every human system functioned like a single organism, coordinated, precise, and unstoppable. From Earth's command center, General Tan and Dr. Ferris observed the final moments of the battle. "It's over," Tan said simply. "The Imperial fleet has collapsed completely." Ferris allowed herself a small smile. They came thinking Earth was weak, primitive, and unprepared. They were wrong. Humans are intelligent, creative, and united. This victory proves that the galaxy underestimated us, and that will never happen again. Even as the wreckage floated silently through space, humanity's triumph was clear. The Imperial fleet, once a symbol of fear and dominance, was annihilated in mere minutes. Humans had proven that strategy, intelligence, adaptability, and unity were far more powerful than size and brute force. On the surface of Earth, people looked up at the night sky, sensing something extraordinary had happened. Though they could not see the details, news reports and communication networks described flashes of light in orbit and distant explosions. A sense of awe spread across the planet. Humanity had faced the galaxy's greatest threat and emerged victorious. Above the planet, General Tan reflected on the battle. They thought they could conquer us with fear and firepower. They did not understand us. They did not understand that humans do not rely solely on strength but on intelligence, coordination, and courage. That is what makes us unstoppable. Dr. Ferris nodded. This is what HFY is about. We are underestimated. But when united and determined, we can overcome any threat. The galaxy will now know the truth about humanity. In the silence of space, the final remnants of the Imperial fleet drifted, powerless and broken. Humanity had struck decisively, demonstrating skill, discipline, and ingenuity. The battle was over, but the impact of this victory would echo across the galaxy for generations. And as Earth spun silently below, its people celebrated, not just a victory in space, but the proof that humanity could rise above any challenge, no matter how impossible it seemed. The darkness of space was now quiet. The wreckage of the once mighty Imperial fleet drifted silently, twisted metal and burning fragments floating like fallen stars. The galaxy had witnessed an event few could have imagined. A fleet thought to be unstoppable was annihilated in minutes by a planet its leaders had underestimated. Earth had proven itself, and humanity's reputation was forever changed. From the command center orbiting Earth, General Arik Tan surveyed the battlefield. The final Imperial ships were either destroyed or drifting powerless. He allowed himself a moment of reflection, though his mind was already planning the next steps. Humanity had won the battle, but the war for recognition in the galaxy was just beginning. Dr. Elena Ferris stood beside him, monitoring the sensors. Her eyes followed the scattered wreckage of Imperial cruisers, noting the efficiency of the human strikes. "They underestimated us," she said quietly. "They assumed strength alone would overwhelm intelligence and strategy. But humans are more than that. We are adaptable, united, and relentless." Tan nodded. "The galaxy will remember this, not because we destroyed their fleet, but because we showed what humans are capable of when united. This is the turning point for humanity in the stars." Back on Earth, people celebrated in cities and towns, though they did not see the battle itself. News reports, broadcasts, and alerts shared the incredible outcome. Civilians cheered, engineers and scientists smiled, and pilots who had risked their lives in orbit returned as heroes. The victory was not just military, it was symbolic. Humanity had faced a superior force and emerged victorious. Ambassadors from other galactic species soon arrived at Earth. The Galactic Council, shocked and humbled, sought to understand the planet they had dismissed. Their initial fear had been replaced by respect. Humanity's decisive victory had rewritten the rules of engagement for any civilization considering aggression. At a formal meeting aboard Earth's orbital station, representatives from the Council approached the human leadership. The envoy, a tall, elegant figure named Quarren, spoke in the universal language. "We come not as conquerors but as observers. Your victory over the Imperial fleet is unprecedented. No species has ever demonstrated such coordination, intelligence, and resilience against forces of this magnitude." General Tan responded firmly, but with dignity. "We do not seek war. We defend our home. But if any force underestimates humanity, they will learn what we are capable of." Dr. Ferris added, "We value life, diplomacy, and cooperation. But we will never allow anyone to threaten our planet or our people. Our victory today proves that humans will defend their home with intelligence and unity." The council members exchanged glances, impressed and perhaps humbled. They had always assumed humans were primitive, weak, and backward. That assumption had cost them a fleet. Now they were forced to reconsider the place of Earth in the galaxy. Meanwhile, on the planet below, engineers worked tirelessly to repair orbital stations, drones, and satellites. Despite the victory, humanity understood that the galaxy was vast and full of unknown threats. Preparation was ongoing, but morale soared. Every person, from pilot to scientist, felt pride in their role. Every human had contributed in some way, and every victory reinforced the truth. Humans were a force not to be underestimated. In the orbital command center, General Tan looked at a holographic display showing Earth and the remaining wreckage. "The Imperial fleet is gone," he said. "But we must remain vigilant. Others may see opportunity in the aftermath." Dr. Ferris nodded. "And they will also see that Earth is ready. That we are not just a planet to be conquered. We are a people capable of shaping our own destiny." Human pilots, many still in orbit, received commendations. Among them, Lieutenant Mara Kessler and Lieutenant Ryan Solis were recognized for their bravery and skill. Their daring maneuvers and leadership had turned the tide of battle. Yet they remained humble. They knew that victory was a collective achievement. Every pilot, every engineer, every AI system had contributed. As news spread across the galaxy, whispers of humanity's power began to circulate. Other species had previously regarded Earth as a minor, inconsequential planet. Now they reconsidered. Reports described humans as intelligent, adaptable, and capable of defeating fleets thought unbeatable. Stories spread of human ingenuity, how small fighters could outmaneuver massive ships, how drones could disable entire cruisers, and how the planet itself could serve as a weapon through the clever use of magnetic fields. Back on Earth, life began to return to normal. Cities resumed their rhythms, schools reopened, and commerce continued. But beneath the surface, humanity had changed. People carried a renewed sense of pride and confidence. They had faced a threat larger than any before, and had emerged victorious not through brute force alone, but through intelligence, coordination, and courage. In the council halls of Earth's government, leaders discussed the future. Plans were drawn to strengthen defenses, expand exploration, and share technology with allies across space. Diplomacy would be key, but humanity had also proven that it could defend itself against any aggressor. Dr. Ferris stood before a group of young scientists, engineers and pilots speaking to inspire the next generation. Today we prove that humans are capable of extraordinary things. We are creative, determined, and united. The galaxy may have underestimated us, but never again. Remember this: intelligence, courage, and unity are our greatest weapons. General Tan addressed the people of Earth directly in a broadcast. Our victory over the Imperial fleet is not just a military achievement. It is proof that humanity can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and defend our home with honor and determination. Let this be a reminder to the galaxy. Earth is a world to respect, not underestimate. Across the stars, other civilizations observed Earth with new eyes. Some approached cautiously, seeking alliances. Others reconsidered their own assumptions and strategies. Humanity had made its mark, and the galaxy could not ignore it. Even within the ruins of the Imperial fleet, survivors began to understand the truth. They had underestimated humans, dismissed their potential, and paid the price. Their reports to the Galactic Council were filled with awe, fear, and grudging respect. Humans were not just fighters. They were thinkers, strategists, and leaders. In the weeks following the battle, Earth consolidated its defenses and repaired its orbital infrastructure. Humans developed new technologies, improved AI systems, and expanded space exploration. The victory had not only secured their planet but had also accelerated their progress, driven by the knowledge that they could face any threat and succeed. As night fell on Earth, the stars above seemed brighter, filled with new possibilities. Humanity had shown that it was capable of great courage, ingenuity, and resilience. The story of the Imperial fleet's destruction became a legend, not just on Earth but throughout the galaxy. And in the silence of space, General Tan and Dr. Ferris reflected on the journey. "We've proven ourselves," Tan said quietly. "But the work is never done. The galaxy is vast, full of unknowns. We must be ready." Dr. Ferris nodded. "Yes, but today humanity has shown the universe what we are. Not through conquest, not through fear, but through intelligence, unity, and courage. That is the essence of humanity, HFY. On Earth, the people celebrated not just a victory over a fleet, but the triumph of a species that had been underestimated and dismissed. Humans had defended their home, demonstrated unparalleled ingenuity, and shown the galaxy that size and firepower alone could not defeat a united, intelligent species. As the celebration continued, Earth's leaders prepared for the future. They would explore the stars, form alliances, and continue to grow in knowledge and strength. The memory of the Imperial fleet's defeat would remain a guiding lesson. Underestimate humanity at your peril. And so, the story concluded with triumph, hope, and a clear message to the galaxy. Humanity is powerful, united, and capable of greatness. The people of Earth had not only defended their home, they had announced their arrival among the stars as a force to be reckoned with, honorable, intelligent, and unstoppable. The battle was won. The Empire had fallen, and humanity had risen.